Welcome. It is Dr. Sarah Larsen, and we are doing an incredible job today on getting and creating accountability. Today's coaching is the last in a series of free coaching leading up to the beginning of a year-long program. 2018 and beyond, having all the tools that you can have. As people come on, you're going to see me moving and muting things as we move along. Today, the course and what we're working on is so extraordinary. Accountability and what it means to be accountable, and how our world functions and works because we've got accountability in the world. There's all kinds of meaning and messages that we can talk about accountability, but I want to start with the laws that we're moving through and into, or we used to be in the energy or the frequency, the miracle of karma. The miracle of karma would really generate beautifully. Whatever you do would be returned to you, so to speak. Think good thoughts, good things would happen. Do good things would happen. And it was a collection of energy from all lifetimes, all existences. So the miracle of karma really was, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Everything we do built upon it a brilliant platform. When we understood things, understanding was half the battle. This is what the law or the miracle of karma really showed. When you understood it, there was something on the spiritual level that kicked into place. What we're now working on and what we're now receiving is the miracles of grace. Miracles of karma really work differently when it comes to accountability. Accountability works differently in the land of miracles of karma. In the miracles of grace, in the laws of grace, accountability works different than it does in the miracle of karma. Every week when we get on these coaching calls, for those that are in the private coaching program, we will stay and work together and we will answer questions, and we are creating a great deal of accountability for you. So, on your end, on our end. On our end, by our end, I mean we're taking the miracle frequency, what you're putting out there, we're connecting. Ernest Holmes and the Science of Mind talks about when two of like mind get together, anything can be created. Two of like mind. And that like mind means in our senses. So whatever you're looking to create, whatever you're bringing into the world, the laws, the miracles of karma before had the energy of you put something in to get something out. The dark or light energy. There was some form of tit for tat, a little bit of this for a little bit of that. And those on the beginning, the forward edge of consciousness, those that are moved, have already moved into the miracle of grace or the laws of grace. In the miracle of karma, it was a openness that allowed you to receive a miracle. You went out and you created kindness and you were doing great things. And in that space, miracles of good things happening to you would come in. Also, all of the bad things collectively in society that had occurred, or all of the things that our parents didn't deal with, or past generations didn't deal with, we got the brunt of. It became ours to manage, to first accept, and then move that acceptance needle, the acceptance of what is, into creative processes. The miracle of grace. There are 3 graces in the miracle of grace, 3 goddesses, 3 energies. When we talk about gods and goddesses in our coaching programs, in working with miracle makers, it's not religion. We're using these huge forces, gods or goddesses, to represent things that we could not otherwise label. When we label things, we have power over them. So in the Vedas, in the ancient stories in India, they named obstacles. Everyone had an obstacle, and they said, well, there's this god that removes obstacles. Ganesh is a god that removes obstacles. And what is meant by that is there is a force unseen to us, an invisible force, that when we acknowledge there's an obstacle and we allow for there to be something that we label, that we can call upon to remove the obstacle, then we are then in a place of balance in our life. We accept there's obstacles. We also accept there's an energy or a god or a goddess that can remove that obstacle, and thus Ganesh. And it's not religion. Everything behind it is oneness. Everything is created from source. Everything has everything in it. Another way to say that is every label that we give something is pointing back to something greater beyond the label. When Eckhart Tolle in his work, when he says and talks about when we point at the moon, don't get caught on the finger pointing at the moon. When you're pointing to the moon, we created gods, goddesses, labels so that we could really understand the moon, the energy behind something, and not get stuck at the pointer finger pointing at the moon. So today we're going to get through the miracle of grace. We're going to step into and understand accountability, and then we're going to look for and chime in with a couple of people that we know are in the coaching program to see how this landed. And then we're going to talk about all the upcoming things to be prepared for as we're making the transition into 2018 or into the new years, the new yous, the new waves of energy coming in. This is a great place to take a deep breath. Go ahead and place your hand on your heart and thank yourself for getting yourself here. We're so grateful to be here. We could be anywhere, and anytime you're listening to this recording, knowing that your mind and your heart, understanding the energy of this one is accountability. What you receive from this moment going forward is a deeper connection to accountability, to being accountable to all shapes and flavors and processes in your life, being labeled, all challenges being overcome with accountability. Go ahead and breathe in. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and come on back into this space. I am at my parents' home in New Orleans. This is the library that I grew up in. It's got a lot of, I'm going to show you just a little bit. We started to take down a lot of the books and a lot of the things that are no longer necessary here, because I don't want my parents to have to deal with all of my medical school notes and all of those things. There are 5 kids in this family, and 5 kids that used this amazing library with computers and printers and this glorious home. As I was thinking about accountability, everything that I have, that I created in the world, to some degree, I am accountable for. So I'm going to even bring in something like this bracelet, all the beads. When we give thanks for something like this, I say, oh, this is my bracelet. The people that gave it to me say, oh, Sarah's wearing my bracelet that I gave her. The shopkeeper that they got that from, oh, Sarah's wearing the bracelet that was in our store. She's wearing our bracelet. The ones that harnessed the beads from the earth, wearing this bracelet. From the earth itself, where these beautiful crystals were made, wearing my bracelet. Dr. Sarah is wearing my bracelet. This is fully being accountable for this bracelet, for every part of this that came together. It's now on my wrist. It's something that I'm going to have to be accountable for the rest of my life. Same thing with everything in this library, that if no one else was left in my family, I would have to come here and take care of this space, the home and everything that was here. And when we show up to the world as source, as God would have us show up, what created us, the energy that is the moon, the energy that's rotating around the earth, the energy, the flow, if we take full responsibility for everything, we become accountable for the things that we can become and take full, that are ours to take responsibility for. Greg's here as well. Baby, will you help me share the screen right here? Is
Which
this
one?
Share screen right there? I'm going to share, oh, I have to pick a screen.
Yeah.
So I'd like to, the PowerPoint. Awesome. So wonderful. We're going to go into, yes, this is me. I take full responsibility and accountability for everyone that I meet and everyone that's signing up for the programs. I am fully responsible and generating the miracle frequency, co-generating that. So all of the miracles that you're here to realize, we can realize. Let's see, I think I hit that one. The weekly coaching program begins January 13th. We move powerfully, happily, and confidently into your own life. Full toolkit of intuitive information at your disposal, fun exercises and processes. We're going to go through all of the things individually about your health, about your success beliefs. You're going to have access to and understanding how miracles work. The old cells will be made into new cells. We're doing it all the time, but those old cells, right now, about 50,000 cells got remade. In every second, in every breath, you are made new. And when you get clear understanding of your belief systems, the miracles, you're going to have new cells. And those new cells create new relationships and enhance your greatest friendships. You get to share your gifts without even trying to the same degree. Your life with an expanded life purpose, your success and income points really greatly improve. How do I know this? Everyone working with me, everyone that's, it's hard for people to leave. Once they come in, they stay for a very, very long time because it works. Your tools inside your body, this is an image of that, the pineal gland. Out of when you become accountable and when you take full responsibility, and throughout the process, you will have a deeper seeing ability for the two halves of your brain, two halves of within every chakra system to communicate and to understand. Your thoughts, your heart, your emotion are creating through your feelings a reality. This reality is bringing into you sensations, bringing in people and experiences. The higher your feelings, thoughts, and emotions, the more your DNA expresses itself. I just met with some kids in Sedona, the college kids, and they're teaching epigenetics in college now. They're teaching it. And if you're not familiar with all of this imagery, this is what is being taught to the next generation of children, the next generation of college students, those being educated. Feelings of your heart affect consciousness. Our kids know this. They're being trained in this. They're being trained in digital computers and also their inner technologies. And so you can learn this completely because it's out there in the collective field. Accountability is not only what we do, but also what we do not do, for which we are accountable. If you do not learn this information, part of all of what you can contribute doesn't get created for the world. I'm going to say that another way. If you do not do or give yourself the coaching, the teaching, the change in your mindset, the understanding of how to master yourself and your feelings, then you're accountable for that too. Those that don't learn this, those that do not learn this will age, will have more difficulty in creating resources for themselves, difficulty in communicating and selling to the next generation. People, and I want to say that again, selling or what you have to contribute, whether it's kindness, whether it's ideas, books, paintings, products. People will only come and buy and build relationships with you if you speak their language. The new language being spoken by our kids, by the next generation of buyers, the next generation of leaders are, we are energy. Your strength, your accountability started when you were in school. The way that you and I learned was we went to a teacher would grade us, we would go back and forth, but learning different things and being graded on it, being measured on it. The new world doesn't look like the measurement, accountability. The new world, the miracle of grace is coming in. The old way of accountability was, oh, you do the homework, you get an A. You learn the stuff, you test. That was the miracle of karma. You do extra effort, or you show up in a particular manner, you might get extra favors, bonus points. So it was all that we did. And if we didn't do something, We were held accountable for that as well. This still applies as we're moving into the miracle of grace. 4 pillars of accountability: responsibility, a duty that binds us to a course of action. So when we entered school as children, we were in that we would have to show up, our attendance was taken, whether we did the homework assignment or not, whether we were listening to the teacher. It's really, really important to fully understand you've been trained to some degree to perform in this way. And unlearning, being fully accountable, fully responsible to the energy source within you, means allowing yourself to become accountable to bigger things. Answerability, being called to account. You've got great skill sets within you. You've got great possibilities, great tools. No one else can bring the miracle you're here to bring. Trustworthiness, a trait of being worthy of trust and confidence. If your heart beat this morning, if you're taking breath right now, that's the universe saying it still trusts you. In the Vedas, in the beautiful way, the ancient Egyptians, all of that information written there, unless you're on your path, your body will cause an accident. You will no longer be here. That's what we know. There's so much wisdom right now being shown. Why are some people getting into accidents? Why are all of these health concerns? Our energy, our being, our self knew that if we were not on purpose, we would check out. We would leave our physical body. It's us. We choose it with Source, with God, our free will. If you're following your heart, you get younger, feeling you have more energy. 4 pillars of accountability, responsibility. Your heart beat today, your breath started. You're here listening to this, you're watching this. There is a course of action that only you can take. And you're being called out on it. Answerability. Will you answer the call? If you answer the call, the trustworthiness, the trait of being trustworthy, confident, liability, being legally bound to debt or obligation, you yourself created that. And you yourself know what happens for you when you work beautifully together with someone else, with a teacher, with energy, with God. We're going to talk and watch this video very quickly. Gary Ridge, the CEO, the WD-40 company. This Freedom at Work talks. This is a great conversation on accountability.
Accountability is something that is really interesting to us. And the reason being is that we worked out a long time ago that micromanagement wasn't scalable. So if we were to succeed as an organization across 176 countries, we better be very clear on, what a good outcome looks like. And most organizations fall down on accountability because, number one, they don't make it clear what a good outcome looks like. So we wanted to first set the stage of not only individual accountability, but corporate accountability or company accountability. We call ourselves a tribe, not a team at WD-40 Company. And the reason we do that is tribe is about belonging. Put up your hand in the audience if anyone here has ever left a relationship, a party, or an organization because they feel like they didn't belong. I normally get 100% participation. So the reason we call ourselves a tribe is because people want to belong to something, and tribes have attributes that are so important. And one of the attributes, of course, of a tribe is being responsible or accountable to someone else. So the first place we start with the overall corporate responsibility is to make sure that our vision is clear. Where do we want to go? And when we wake up in the morning, are we enthusiastic about getting there? You would think that seeing we sell a can of oil, our vision might be to stop squeaks. Well, it's not. Our vision is to create memories. We're in the memories business. WD-40's vision is to create positive, lasting memories, solving problems in factories, homes, and workshops of the world. And why are memories so important to us? Because at the end of the day, memories are the only thing we have left. So every day we get up to create positive, lasting memories. In fact, the next area that we concentrate on is values. What's our vision and what are our values? I think values are the banks of a river, because with the banks of a river, it takes the water from the mountain to the sea. And without those banks, that water would be a stagnant pond where nothing grows. So our values in the organization are there to keep people centered in that journey from the mountain to the sea. And when you think about a river going from the mountain to the sea, a lot of stuff happens. There's white water, so there's times of fear. There's times of rest and solace. We'll stop on the side. There's fish so people can eat. And there is no doubt that fear is the most disabling emotion we have. And what values do in an organization is they set our people free. They know where they can go. They know how to make decisions, and they know how to operate. Our number one value is we value doing the right thing. So we can ask that question openly and honestly within our organization. Our number two value is we value creating positive, lasting memories in all of our relationships. That's the relationship that we have with our tribe members, the relationship we have with our end users, those people who use our product, and the relationship that we have with the people who invest in our company. We're a public company, so we serve our shareholders, but we really serve three constituent groups: our people, our end users, and our shareholders. So our job is to create positive, lasting memories with all of them, and our values can help do that. One of our values also is we value to sustain the WD-40 economy. What does that mean? It means that we are accountable for building a robust economy within our organization. And the great thing about a robust economy is wonderful things happen. It's vibrant, it builds, it provides, whether it be training or development or opportunities, we are there. So our accountability is all about being aware of what a good outcome looks like and how will we have that conversation. The other thing that we did, or we do at WD-40, is we challenge people to have learning moments. We don't make mistakes at WD-40 Company. We have learning moments, because a learning moment is a positive or negative outcome of any situation that should be openly and freely shared. I don't think I remember anyone ever running down a corridor at a company yelling out at the top of their voice, "I made a mistake and I'm very ashamed." But what I do hear is people saying, "Geez, I just had a learning moment, and here's what it was, and here's how it can benefit our organization." But our Maniac Pledge really is our permission. And our Maniac Pledge is this. It's on our values card. We talk about it in onboarding, and it says, "I am responsible for taking action, asking questions, getting answers, and making decisions. I won't wait for someone to tell me. If I need to know, I'm responsible for asking. I have no right to be offended if I didn't get this sooner. And if I'm doing something others should know about, I'm responsible for telling them." This is the WD-40 Company Maniac Pledge. This is the pledge we take to support our people and to support the real essence of being accountable. Because at the end of the day, it's all about our people. We're very fortunate that 97.6% of our employees globally say they love to tell people they work at WD-40 Company. 99% of our people say they know how their job feeds into the success of the company. And 95% of the people in the company say they're excited about their future. We have an employee engagement level of 94%. So I would submit to you, if you have people who know what they're accountable for, love doing what they're doing and are excited about the future, you'll have a very positive outcome, which is what we have at our company. Because we believe in the power of our people, in the accountability of our people, and them being responsible for each other. So my challenge to you as we leave today and tomorrow, and after all of this sharing we're doing, is, can you take the Maniac Pledge? Could you bring the Maniac Pledge to your organization? And would you say, I'm responsible for taking action, asking questions, and getting answers and making decisions? And there's many times I've been in a meeting where someone says, I'm invoking the Maniac Pledge. Thank you.
Oh, I love this video. I love this video so much because it really goes back to very simple programs and processes. Again, we are talking about accountability. We are talking today so much about the miracle of karma and the miracle of 3 graces. What are the 3 graces and how do they relate to accountability? This video really talks about where do you want to go? Where do we want to go? What memories do you want to have? And then what do you value? Your values will set you free. If you're accountable to your values, everything doesn't need to be managed. The big decisions, the little decisions are all created from those 3 questions. Running your life, making decisions is one of the hardest parts, and quite often this is what I love doing. I help people make the greatest decisions, those from business all the way into personal relationship lives, making great decisions, the ones that when you're 90 and looking back, you'll be glad you took that road. Making memories. What tribes do you want to intend to belong to? What tribes are you here to make? These are really important questions. The miracle of karma was this for that. You do this, you get that. The miracle of karma was and is tit for tat, also black and white. Now, the 3 graces, Greek mythology, labeled in Indian mythology and Egyptian mythology, all the way they're labeled different names. But collectively, the 3 graces, each one represents charm, one represents beauty, and one represents creativity. If there was a gift to be given, we're in the holiday season right now and lots of gifts are being given. And so if I give my sister a gift and it's in front of the family that everyone is seeing this gift, the law of grace, I am one of the graces giving the gift. My sister is one of the graces receiving the gift. And then the rest of the family is the 3rd grace witnessing the gift. being shared, being given. If I struggle to give my sister the gift, or I'm not, if I'm giving it with the miracle of karma in place, oh sis, I'm going to give you this, now you have to give me something. Where that used to be the old law. Let me make sure I give my sister something of equal value to what she's going to give me. The miracle of grace is I give from my heart what I want to give. There's no judgment around it. There's just the pure joy and beauty of giving. She gracefully receives it, opens that gift, receives it and loves it and wraps it. The ideal space is she wraps it with her love and fully receives the gift, because it is the gift plus the intention of the gift. Then the whole family witnessing the third grace, going, what a lovely exchange they just had. The charm, the joy, the beauty, creativity. And together, everyone received the gift because of the grace in which the three graces, the law of grace, the miracle of grace. This is so important to understand. The next layer of miracles are coming, are available when you notice within yourself, when you notice within your energy field. How did you feel when you witnessed one sister give to another sister? Oh, your neighbor got that beautiful house, that beautiful car. And to imagine with your mind's eye the beauty, the joy, all of that, them getting that opens you up. It opens you up to being able to go further. You're the one that's giving the car, the house, you're the one giving the gifts. And to give it in a manner that there's no strings attached. How beautiful is that? The miracle of that grace. And then to be the one witnessing the exchanges happening amplifies it. When we watch kindness, when we watch one person giving to another person and we're unattached to an outcome, our biology, our body believes it happened to us. So someone helping someone else, serotonin goes up, dopamine goes up, all of the feel good oxytocin, everything within us. When we give a gift and there's no angst, no struggle, this is what it means to truly step into a new layer of accountability, a new layer of responsibility and dependability. When we know that when we can't be happy for another, we've got something in here, a grace that we've got to call upon. When we talked about that example of when there's an obstacle and we recognize there's an energy or a force that helps us overcome that obstacle. So that was, there's an obstacle, and in the Indian mythology, Ganesh is the god that overcomes obstacles. So you have an obstacle, you then call in or you invoke the chants that allow Ganesh to come fully online to help recognize you have an obstacle and to overcome it. Well, you have graces. You have within you a miracle frequency written in the temples of Greece, in the walls of Egypt, in India, in South American, in all of the different traditions, there is charm. If you feel something you don't want to feel, you can wear something that says that is a charm that helps you go, this feeling shall pass. What I'd like to be feeling is charming. This feeling shall pass. What I'd like to feel is to feel this 100%, this moment, so I can experience it with all of my senses. And I love it, accept it, and let this feeling be uplifted into beauty. Beauty is the second grace. Charm is the first. Beauty is the second. And when we understand beauty, to everything, there is a beautiful, there's a movie that Will Smith made, Collateral Beauty. To everything, there is beauty. In the destruction, in the worst of the worst situations. I help those with PTSD, those that have been to war, extreme situations. And in there, they are talking about the best of humanity. And they're also talking about the worst of humanity. Some of my clients were in Las Vegas at the shooting. Some of my friends and clients have lost their homes in their fires. This is part of the reason I'm so passionate about getting coaching programs going even further and deeper and richer. Part of the money, part of the resources that we are collecting are going to, for them to have a home, for their nonprofits to keep working. So we have coaching programs. I will tell you more about them. They're on my newsletter. We have all sorts of sales going right now because we want to give to them home. We want to keep we take that responsibility. Collateral beauty. People that never had to ask for help. I was one of those people and had to ask for help. I had to learn that skill set to become the receiving grace. I was comfortable in being the grace that gave. But we have to be all three of those miracle graces. A miracle grace that can give, the miracle grace that can receive, and the miracle grace that can witness. That's what true accountability in this program means. It also means that we talk every week about, where do you want to go? We generate that week to week. I want you to write it down. I want you to write down, what memories do you want to have? I want to have the memories with my parents, that I took great care of the things that they care about. They care about their home. They care about us. They care about the village. They just got back from Pakistan. The village there now has a government school on it. My dad is we are funding education. He's funding those kids being educated. They care about that because they get to create peace in the world. They get to create peace through the work that I do with you, the work my sister does with delivering babies, the work my brother does with homing people, giving them homes, my younger brother with the law and taxes and accounting. You have particular gifts that only you can bring to the world. Where do you want to go? What memories do you want to have? And to define out your values. The values become the nourishment. Your values, what you value, informs you. Every time you get angry, Every time you get hurt, something you valued got a little bit adjusted for you to be able to see it better. Every time you get angry, every time you get hurt, every time you get afraid, a value came up. And it's so important for you to fully recognize what you value. I'm so glad you're here. I value you guys so much. And so we're gonna continue on sharing this PowerPoint. Let's see, I think from current slide, this is where we went. Personal accountability requires mindfulness, acceptance, honesty, and courage. For me, I'll really want to be mindful. Acceptance, whatever is, you take whatever is in front of you, whatever you're feeling, and really getting honest and courageous. But early, when I first started practicing medical intuitive, it was really hard. I didn't have self-worth to the degree and self-value to the degree that I do now. Back then, when I met Hollywood stars or people that I really saw their amazing work, it would be hard for me to give them information. That it would be harder because I wanted them to value me. Now, through the miracle of grace, I just give, and I don't listen for their response. I make everything be recorded so that when they hear it, when they hear the conversation, it's between what's being channeled for source. I don't worry that they understand it. I know it's recorded and source is going to use me so that I am not in the way. My opinion, that honesty and courage, but I had to learn that I wasn't that way from mindfulness. We're going to go to the next thing. I love that I can measure myself and share with people all along the way. And now I'm working with, and I value everyone to the same degree. The reason people that are highly accomplished want an extra edge. That's why they're always with another acting coach, another healing coach, another physical trainer. That's why I'm constantly bringing in the best as well, so that I can give to you more. This is a great talk that I can't wait for you to hear. Another TEDx talk.
Maya Angelou once said, "A solitary fantasy can transform a million realities." What dream or vision do you want to turn into reality? I always wanted to go into business for myself. I could be a consultant. I'm going to go gluten-free right after I eat that last piece of chocolate cake. You know, one day I'm going to stand up to that crabby boss. I look good on paper. I should feel great. I just know there's more. You know it because you feel it. You lie awake at night. You talk about your dreams with your partner and your friends, but more often than not, you continue to do those same behaviors that keep you from making the change. You ask yourself, how can I make it happen? Research shows the odds against you making a change in your life, 9 to 1. 9 to 1, even if you're facing a life-threatening illness. But let me show you how to beat those odds. You can live the life you desire. It's right there in front of you. But in order to achieve it, you must first see it, then believe it, And then you must graciously ask and train your brain to help you execute your vision. So how do we see our vision? Through a picture. A picture can create movements. A picture can unite nations. A picture can pull at your heart and fill you with a deep desire to do something. At Roche Pharmaceutical, the president asked us to create a picture of his vision. Prior to having one, less than 40% of the employees understood the company's vision and strategy. After seeing this picture, 96% understood it. And 84% understood how what they did every day aligned to that picture. So how can you use a picture to get what you want? By simply drawing one. You don't have to be an artist or know how to draw. As naive as your drawings might be, when you draw where you are, your current state, and where you want to be, your desired new reality, suddenly you have a roadmap for change. So what is your current state? Well, let's say you're Joe. Joe has a good job. Joe has a lovely wife, Amy. Joe makes good money, but like many of us, Joe wants more from life. And he'd like to get rid of a couple of things. Maybe that intense workload. Maybe that negative boss. Maybe Joe has a higher purpose. He's just not sure how to get there. So now, Joe's current state is visual. We remember things better when they're attached to a picture. 65% better, to be exact. So now, let's imagine that Joe wants to change something in his current state. He wants to build that desired new reality that he dreams about. In order for Joe to freely dream, he must first trick his brain. Because the left side of your brain, as you know, houses the critic, who is forever trying to keep you safe from harm. Make sure you don't do anything dangerous or stupid. So let's have Joe tell the critic that he's just going to use his imagination. Using your imagination activates the right side of your brain, which makes you creative and filled with possibility. So now let's dream Joe's new life. In the best case scenario, 1 year from today, what is Joe's life like? Hey, Joe has a new job. All right. Joe has a new boss, himself. Joe has a couple of great collaborators, and Joe is just bursting with creativity and ideas and all of those things we dream about. Connection and purpose and freedom and love. Now, I'm drawing this picture as a favor to Joe today, but in real life, he'd have to draw his own picture because he can't afford me. Actually, because you get the most power when you paint your own picture. So now Joe has his drawing. So now he's got to soak it in. He has to fill it with color. He has to fill it with emotion. He has to get inside of it, as if he's on the inside looking out. Your brain actually emits serotonin and oxytocin when you draw and dream. So you feel happy, capable, creative. You feel cool. So now we have Joe's current state and Joe's desired new reality. So how can Joe get from here to there in just 3 bold steps? 3 bold steps. If I knew how to get from here to there in 3 bold steps, I would have done it 25 years ago when I had a mullet. Here's where the magic begins. Your brain knows you. It's cataloged everything you've ever seen, heard, experienced, real or imagined. You just have to ask it to put the pieces together for you. It's as simple as that. We live in a 3-dimensional world, but the light falls on the retina in a 2-dimensional fashion, and the brain, it has to cope with it. So how does it deal with this extra dimension? It guesses. It guesses. And just as it can guess where your cup of coffee is when it goes to pick it up, it can correctly guess what the 3 bold steps are that you should take. All you have to do is look at your picture and then close your eyes. This allows the brain to recycle what it sees and reconstruct it, add to it everything you've ever seen, heard, experienced, or fantasized about. And then it will serve you up with the best possible solution. If you just relax and you ask it, now what's the boldest thing I could do to get from here to there? Boom, immediately it will tell you. See it? Believe it. Act on it. Now the danger is, if any of those 3 bold steps are too scary, this instinctual rational side of your brain is going to try to talk you out of it. Oh, no. I don't want to do that. Oh, that desk, it's not too small. My legs aren't cramped under there. Oh, $20,000 a year. Oh, that's a decent salary. Oh, that boss, he's not that mean to me. You know what? I'm just going to stay right here. I feel really comfortable here. So how can you get yourself to do the boldest thing? By drawing the most compelling picture. So when you look here, you're in pain. It hurts. And when you're here, you're ecstatic. It's fantastic. You're already living inside that connected and free life you drew. So every day you get up, you soak in your picture, you step into the possibility, and this is the most important part, you act on it. You do one small thing. You call up that friend you know who started her own business. You ask her, how'd you do it? You ask Amy, will you support me in my vision? You go to your boss and you ask him for a raise, and you become that one person out of 10 to make change happen. Now I put this template on your chair so that you could do for yourself what I just did for Joe. You've seen some fantastic ideas today that have inspired your dream. I dare you to draw that dream into that template. I double dare you to choose a symbol in your drawing that represents that desired new reality. Take a picture of it with your phone and send it to us at TEDx Rainier. Maya Angelou said, a solitary fantasy can transform 1,000,000 realities. Just 3 bold steps can transform one reality, yours. Thank you.
I love that video. And as part of the coaching program, anyone who's part of it, you get those videos along with some of the worksheets, that sort of stuff from us when we begin working. A solitary fantasy can transform 1,000,000 realities. Your solitary fantasy, in there is everything, drawing your dreams into reality. I want to bring back a little bit what we talked about in the beginning, the miracle of karma, this for that, unfulfilled desire. Whatever your unfulfilled desires were, they were to help you master yourself. We're moving not just into the miracle of karma, we are in the miracle of 3 graces. When you receive a gift, when you see a gift being given, when you're giving a gift, to do it with noticing how you are on the inside. The solitary fantasy can transform a million realities. Drawing your dreams into reality is what this part is. Only 1 out of 10 people will accomplish their goals. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. And those that work with coaches, those that work with someone they can be accountable to, get it done. You don't need someone outside yourself, but I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend you draw the picture. Drawing a picture of what you intend to realize in the world. When I met Greg, I had forgotten about some of the pictures that I had drawn. As a kid, I drew pictures of my husband. So funny. Before before my first marriage, but so funny. When I was married to Greg, when he showed up as those pictures. Over the years, I have done this work, and I'd written out the law of attraction work. Thank you, dear beloved, for waiting for me. And I wrote down how I felt being with him. And then when I met him, and I was cleaning out my parents' home before we both moved to California, before I moved to California, I found the note cards. This miracle maker frequency, your 3 bold steps that you have to do to have accountability, to have someone standing with you, helping you co-create that, see that for you. How good does that feel? I want you to, again, we started by placing our hands on our heart. What would it mean if there was your dream in the world? You don't even need to know what that dream is, but you fully mastered yourself. You were the Oprah of your own life. You could build schools anywhere. You could help anyone. Everyone is always glad to see you coming. What does it taste like when people around you are like, wow, she's here, she's coming. Look, there she is. There he is. Breathe that in for a second. For the miracle that only you can make to be fully realized. Here, I have the love of my life. Go ahead and open your eyes. I have a partner that I'm so grateful that I didn't miss love. It was important to my heart. That's something I always wanted. And I got sick every time I was supposed to take an exam, until the only place I could take the exam and do the training was in Nashville. And at the right time, I show up at a concert, look over, and there he is, and I meet him. And when we trace back our lives, there were at least 13. At some points, we've sat down and counted out 20 different times we could have met. Everything is predetermined in the areas of love from your self-mastery. Those are agreements you make before coming here. God would not put that desire, source, that value in your heart without you being able to realize it. A solitary fantasy can transform a million realities. Being accountable to the miracle of grace Are you at this moment to be charm, to be beauty, to be creativity? Are you those three graces? Are you supposed to, from the inside, knowing, do you need to give something with all of your heart? Do you need to receive something from all of your heart? Or do you just need to witness something with all of your heart? You get those energies correct with yourself, you master those, and then this drawing your dreams into reality. Once you get clear, and that's part of the program, we'll go into that. And every Saturday when we're doing the programs, we don't have a limited amount of time. We can work together. I'm so grateful for that. Again, we're doing all of these, running these great specials so that we can co-create with Rise of the Butterfly, with Elevate Film Fest, with others that don't want to be mentioned, that no longer have homes. We love being able to help them. I would love to answer any questions as well. I'm going to go back to the screen just for a second, to this PowerPoint, just for a second, and share. So back here, the way that your pineal gland works, the way that your mind's eye works is when you're relaxed. 20 minutes in, after all of the busy thoughts come out, the busy work, the busyness, after about 20 minutes, some sort of relaxation happens in your body. And you begin tapping into deeper frequency. Some people carry that frequency all the time because they've practiced over and over again being in the moment. Some get to that 20 minutes after they've exercised or danced, and then they tap into the one consciousness, the pineal gland, the body's eye, into the feeling field. Everything's energy, and everything is drawing and drawn to you based on your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. And whatever wasn't dealt with before is now yours. If you change the electric field or the magnetic field, you change the atom. Every one of your thoughts changes the electric field and magnetic field. So sitting for 20 minutes, sitting or exercising, and then being still and letting the flow of the universe help you draw your dreams into reality. Catching the vision. Then writing down the bold step that you could take to fully realize that vision. What is the bold step that you could take? No one else can do what you're here to do. And so, where do you want to go? What memories do you want to have? It's interesting to say, what makes you really angry? Or what hurts you? Those inform you of what you really value. How to make decisions and making memories, belonging. I'm so grateful that you're here, because your solitary fantasy can change our world. You remaking yourself. You remaking yourself I love being home at my parents' home. It was Ram Dass that says, if you want to, if you think you're enlightened, spend the weekend with your parents. And it's really the most beautiful time in my life because I belong to this family. I belong to you guys. You belong to me and to this family. When my parents came to California or wherever they go, and the Miracle Maker family welcomes, co-creates with grace, fully realizes and implements all of the things that we can give one another. Charlie Pacello, Miracle Maker, met with the Pope recently. Rewrote the Roman Catholic Church's missions in Lebanon. We have great products coming to market, great thought products, books, the most extraordinary things, because one solitary fantasy, one bold step, one accountability partner at a time. I love you guys. There's so much more that we can share. Just to summarize, karma, which we haven't said yet, is unfulfilled desire. Whatever it is that is your unfulfilled desire, everything either informs you or affects you. So if something makes me feel hurt or sad, if I feel hurt or sad, if I allow it to create that within me, if I allow that energy, it informs me or affects me. It's such a beautiful thing. Unfulfilled desire informs you or affects you. Are you to be charm, beauty, or creativity? Are you to give, to receive, or to witness? And then to really clearly witness yourself. Sit for 20 minutes, catch a vision of your dreams. Write down the bold step, then see it, believe it, and take action on it. 1 person out of 10 will be able to create their reality. But that was the old way. The children coming up today are coming up with the technology of epigenetics, of the miracle manifesting methods, of understanding everything's energy. The kids today understand the 2 halves of their brain and understand the mind, body, spirit connection. They understand that they're broadcasting a frequency. For you to be able to contribute, to give to them, means you understand this, along with all the other things, the desires, all of the changes, all of the invisible that's within you that can be made visible only through you. And so I'm going to open the floor up, and I'm going to do it in the order that we can get through a few today. And I'm so glad when we start our coaching program coming up January 13th. The coaching program is extraordinary. It's limited. Every person will get time. Every person will get instructions. Every person accountable. The deepest level of accountability is when 2 people are accountable together. It's such a gift that you give yourself. So I'm going to open the floor up for Disha. Disha, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
So what stood out for you in today's talk, in today's conversation?
Responsibility and accountability. Those are words that have been coming up for the past 2 months consistently, and I've been looking at what that means for me and what that has meant for me and what I want that to mean for me going forward, if that makes sense. And just looking at it from a lighter perspective, and not being so harsh with the idea of responsibility and accountability, and making it more accessible and fun and participatory, versus like reactionary or what I have to do because XYZ. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. So what I hear you saying is to be ahead of it and to feel it, and sort of it be the wind in your sails is what I see coming up for you so beautifully, that it catches, you catch wind. Responsibility, I love breaking that word down. Response able. And one of the things to really, when we watch the news or when we watch events happening in the world, one of the questions to really ask ourselves is this an area of influence that I have right now? Is this mine to carry? And if it's not, we have to draw our energy back into what we can be responsible for. A lot of television, a lot of news, a lot of media really put in and that we've got to be responsible for a lot of things. Focus is the biggest way to become responsible. You focus on one area of your life and you become as response able as possible there. And so for me, the coaching programs, the group coaching programs, only taking 10 private clients next year. Everyone else here in this program, if you're one of the ones that have said, yes, we'll have private time together next year, that means you're one of 10 that is getting, so that I can write the books and write the programs and the TV shows. So Disha, what this means for you is really carefully picking and focusing and allowing the focus to be what creates for you even more responsibility. Oprah, every day, 5 o'clock in a chair, 6 o'clock makeup, all the way into the evening, late into the evening, one focus over and over and over again. That laser focus allowed her to generate. And so accountability. One of the things, Disha, for you is to really get from your heart what it is you want to create first.
Yeah, that's the key. That it's because I'm sitting here like there's so much I want to do. I don't know what to focus on, and I feel like that focus, it's like that almost not an excuse, but it's a frustrating, like I don't like I could do this or I could do that, but yeah, I really I struggle with that, which yeah, I just I feel like it's creative. What that is creative, but I don't know, what that looks like in the bigger picture, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And what I also hear in your energy field, again, is writing, content
Okay.
creation. I hear very, very clearly you are going to transition further into bigger ways that you're being seen, media, video content, that sort of scenario. But it's the writing right now that's really making a difference, the writing and the photography.
Okay.
And then I'd love for you to talk about, because there's one other thing that you've been thinking about bringing to the forefront right now.
Have I? I don't know.
So is it a product representation?
Well, one thing that I don't know if this is in line with that, but an online boutique. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's it. And I've been thinking about like doing import export with my travel writing, like what am I getting my words together? Finding pieces that fit the boutique idea, which is African, bohemian, and chic, from the places that I go around the world.
And the
So
answer is yes. That's the thing. And people will find your writing from the boutique. They will find you even more. You'll have signature pieces. You will.
interesting.
It's a fair trade sort of situation. You're helping the land where you're visiting as well.
Interesting. That's, and I've been feeling that that was the reason why I'm going to or going to South America.
Yeah.
Because initially I thought, I wanted to do this based in the continent of Africa, but now it feels very buzzy, thinking about like finding things in Peru that I would be able to resell.
And take pictures, get their addresses, put them online, and back and forth. You're able to you can take certain pieces with you, but you can continue the relationship over and over again. So that is
and that's the other
exactly
thing
what
that I was thinking about it. That makes is clearer, because I've been writing a guide for Trujillo, Peru, which I've never been to, and trying to do research about it on places online, and realizing a lot of the places don't have an online presence. And been thinking about, like, I need to be there to see about, bringing that to them as well. Like creating simple websites so that people can find them, or maybe just having it on my own website.
Have it on your own website, and then schedule calls with them on a regular basis, and establish the way that money will go back and forth.
I like that.
So because they aren't going to be, you need to learn the language and write it down on pieces of paper, and have the conversations pre-written.
That's on my to-do list.
Yes.
It's literally, because I know a little Spanish, but I've literally been looking at different dialects, and it's on my to-do list to come up with sales letters in in the language. Yeah.
In language. And so you've got them, print them up, give them copies, make sure your phone number, make sure your website, and then they can use that letter to get more money and resources to make more stuff as well. So they can take and receive more goods to make more goods to sell to you.
Yeah.
So you're saying, I'm going to represent you and your product on this online place.
Yeah.
And we're building a business together, because I want to help you, and I want to help develop great trade.
Yes.
And then you're very clear with what your space is called. It's called blessing, something along God's blessing or Earth's blessings, something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah.
Because your name means blessing.
I think I've been told it meant peace. So blessing. I like.
Right. It's the blessing of peace.
Oh, wow.
So again, if you look at everything through the three graces, a grace can either give perfectly, a grace can receive perfectly, or a grace can witness perfectly. And so
Mm-hmm.
you are the grace that gives blessings of peace.
Wow. Wow. that that resonates.
Yeah. And I've got your goals. And so we're taking your goals. Anything else you want to write for me going to Egypt, please write. And I'm having an oil made for you in Egypt. So when you and I meet, or when I get back and we start the coaching program, you're going to have your own oil from Egypt, based
Awesome.
on your frequency, love. So I'm so excited for you to have.
Awesome.
I love you. I'm so
I love
glad
you too.
you're too, and I can't wait for us to start in January.
Me too. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Love you, love you. Grace, we are going to you. Hi, Grace.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I see this. It's so beautiful to see you. Yay. And I feel this, I see your dream catcher, and I see that beautiful, all of the stuff in the background. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What did you get out of today so far?
All of it was interesting. I like the three graces. And I guess the question that arose for me was for myself. Like, I don't know if I should be focusing on giving, receiving, or witnessing, because it feels like I need all three.
We all need all three.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all tuning in each situation, figuring out, do I have to just receive? That's usually the hardest one. Or do I have to witness? Most people are great at giving. Like they've mastered being the grace of graciously, here, let me give you a cup of coffee, and feeling such joy when you're sipping the coffee or the tea. We've mastered that one, but giving. But when you're receiving the tea, or like receiving this bracelet, for me, this was a gift for me to receive this bracelet, to go, oh my gosh, all of the people's hands, all of the earth, all of that energy went into this. And now it's a practice. Now I've got, the tea. My mom made me the most beautiful cup of tea. She makes the most beautiful tea. So I grew up with chai tea, ancient way, that the spices came from India and Pakistan, the milk from a cow down the street, the boiling and all of that stuff, and all of the love. And as a kid, my mom would sing like in the morning when she was making stuff. So even though I didn't see her making this, all of that came into that. And I received that love rather than just taking it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, who doesn't drink milk because he's vegan, I do milk, witnessed it, and he was like, wow, that's so beautiful. And he was the absolute witness, and he could witness my mom's joy in giving it, my joy in receiving it, and him. All three of us became a tuned frequency. Later on, this morning, I gave my mom a new pair of shoes. And my mom was putting on her old red shoes, and my mom has a particular flat shoe that she likes. And I picked up a red, and I was so happy that I could give this to her. And again, I was the giver, my mom the receiver, my husband the witness. And my mom, all the way around, and then later on, my husband received. Each of us being in those different roles, knowing when to do that, and noticing subtle energy if we're witnessing someone else receive something and we're not in the pure role of witnessing it with sincere, pure energy. When we're not in sincere, pure energy, a little bit of our magnetism, a little bit of the possibility miracle frequency is informing us to understand something we fear, something that makes us angry, something that we need to really fully identify as valuable. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. And that becomes, we have to be all three of those graces.
Okay.
And the first one most people have to practice is just witnessing, and not having anything but pure energy in the witnessing. And then the second one that most people need to do is get really good at receiving. Not receiving and thinking, oh my gosh, this person gave me something, I've got to give them something back of equal or greater value. Not feeling obligated because they received. Everything in the end comes from source, from the earth. Everything, every one of these books behind me, I have to give or take care of in some shape or form. Everything that we've ever been given, everything we have, is for us to give. When we pass away, when we no longer have a physical form, someone's got to do something with all of our bracelets, all of our clothes, all of our books. If we give them all away before we pass on or transition, that we are forgiving everything, every one of the emotions. And so many prayers say, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Or Hopono, Hopono, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Everything we have is for giving. Our stories that we have, if they can help another, are ours to give. Each one of our items, ours to give. Each one of our talents. Grace, you've got something so beautiful in there that's invisible to give, and to find the language and words that will help make it visible so others can really receive it is part of the journey that we're on. So what else comes up for you?
The drawing idea, like I will do it, but I was wondering what I should, like, there's my ultimate thing that I want, and then there's what I'm working on now, which is only partial. And if I want to be focused, I don't know if I should, like, the real thing that I want is I want to be married.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be focusing on all this career stuff I'm doing now, but for the moment I kind of have to. So, or at least it appears that way. So I don't know if I should be focusing on what I'm working on now so that I keep my focus very clear, or focusing on what I want, or focusing on what I really want, which will distract me from what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And what's really, really great is those relationships, marriage, love, are all made in heaven. It's really funny to say it this way. As someone who had a near-death experience, I had experienced Greg in that region. I'd experienced my kids in the near-death experience, being dead. I'm putting that in quotes, not having life force, seeing him, seeing the kids, and choosing to come back into physical form over and over and over again so that I could have them, realize them. But when I got into the joy frequency is when they manifested.
Mm-hmm.
As a doctor, as a young doctor, as working in nonprofit hospitals, not sleeping. I'm a very dedicated person. It's really funny. Not a single person in the hospital. I would stay by their bedside. But I never missed a day of clinics or the opportunity to be with my patients. It's really, really one of the things that I'm grateful that's in me, that I love that deeply. But I got to Nashville, I had to take this exam. And I'm like, my dad and my sister were coming to visit. So I went to see what was happening in town. My favorite band that I grew up with in New Orleans was going to be in town, and they're not like a famous band. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to miss them. The concert had already started. It was like an outdoor concert. And I ran home. I grabbed my roommate that I was renting the house from, ran to the concert. My roommate sang with one of the bigger bands and said, do you want to come backstage and meet the band backstage? And I grew up kind of being able to do that in New Orleans and meeting the band. And I'm like, no, I just want to have the experience from out front here. So I stayed out front, looked over, and there was Greg. And I thought he was someone else. I walked up to him, introduced myself. All the words that we said did not match. And what that means is it wasn't like a romantic conversation. From our initial talk, you'd never think we would wind up married and have children. I laugh at this because I said, oh, I thought you were Dr. John. And he's like, I don't believe in doctors. Long story short, the conversation was strange. But at the end, he asked for my, we ran into each other again, and he asked for my number. And I think I took his number, and I gave him my number, and he called me, and the phone was so strange and weird. The first message he left me was, fuck. The second message was, funny words again, and then a curse word. The third message was like, this phone isn't working. The messages isn't working. What's happening here? Then the fourth message was, hey, it's Greg Larsen. We met the other day at the concert. It was the fourth message was so, and I'm like, oh my gosh. When I was listening to that message, another roommate that I'd come to town with started just getting really loud and complaining. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to get out of the house right this second. So I had his voicemail, and I called him and said, what are you doing? It's like, oh, well, I was thinking about going to the movies. I'm like, that's awesome. Come get me. Because my roommate was kind of having a hysterical moment. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to get out of this house, and I have a reason to go do something. And in our strange conversation, he'd said all the things that made me feel safe to be his friend. My point being, I raised my vibration to get happy. I went to a concert, whereas all the times that I was working in the hospital, I had that desire. I wanted to meet the love of my life, but I was so damn serious. Pardon my French there a little bit, but I was all, let me take care of this person. Let me take care of this. Let me do this. And we could never meet up because I was in a lower vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So get happy. You focus your attention. The person that is for you, this beautiful human being, is searching for you just like you are searching for them. And the happier you get, the easier it becomes for those connections to happen. And I love that we're working together. You're one of the ones that we're working together this year, which for me means you have the relationship already. There's so much, I love saying this, baby batter out in the world, babies out in the world with people that have worked with me. It puts the biggest smile on my face, because that to me is the biggest gift we get to give another human being, is the ability to connect with their beloved. And for that to come in fully is such a gift.
But for the drawing, should I focus on the marriage part, which is what I really want? Should I do a drawing of myself married, or should I focus on what I'm working on now? Because I don't want to lose my focus on what I'm doing now with the pace flow.
This is in the beginning when she showed the image of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do this specifically in the program. We're going to draw out and write out the 7 areas of our life, and we're going to have images. The image for love is stability. It is that beloved, and we do a process there for the love of your life to come in. we do a very beautiful process.
So
And
are you saying don't do the drawing now, wait until we do it as a group?
what I would recommend for you is start a sketch of 7 areas. Start getting and catching. One is love and family. There's stability. The best you can feel with your beloved is stable.
Mm-hmm.
With friends, there's a network. The best you can feel is a net that lifts you up, that you get to, that catches you if you fall. That's the network, a working net. Your friends catch you. My friends catch me. I catch my friends. We lift each other up constantly. And then in finances, it's feeling wealthy. In vocation, in your work, it's feeling fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
In your physical body, it's feeling vitality.
Okay.
In your purpose, mission, it's spiritually feeling you're on a mission. So spiritual, and then mentally, it's being a genius to solve problems, and mentally being able to focus to complete things.
Okay.
There's 7 areas.
So it's love,
Mental
love, friends, finances, work, body, purpose, and mental or
and
mind.
yes.
All right.
So spiritually, I'm here to make peace. So every bit of work that I do, whether it's because God, you being fully realized gives so much to our world. Such a beautiful gift that you have, this vocation. When it fulfills you, happiness, all of the arts, all of that coming through you is so lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates peace. The work that you're doing, being fulfilled, you being fully lit up means you touch 1 million, 2 million people through your work. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And you having the beloved, we don't get those desires in our hearts without the ability to realize them.
You know that you said that during the talk, but then I think of people who are paralyzed who have a desire to walk, or people who, like.
So last night I was on the plane. We cancel out our own belief system. We let a doctor stand over us and say, you can't walk again, even though there are so many cases of people walking again. It's one of the reasons that I do the show Miracle Makers on UBN Network. We highlight all the miracles, the people that are walking, the ones that have regrown their lungs, that have out of nowhere, the resources come in. It's only our belief system that cancels that out. And the most incredible thing is Institute of Noetic Sciences has been documenting miracles, spontaneous remissions since the 90s. We've got all sorts of records throughout the world, throughout our different languages that account for miracles. And yet we've been taught in school to only believe the authority, the teacher. Then we take tests to regurgitate the information that the teacher has told us that might have been based on faulty facts and information to start with.
Right.
The new generation is no longer just taking a teacher's word for it or a textbook's word for it. They're doing the research themselves, synthesizing new results altogether. I'm going to show you a book behind me because it's one of my favorite books. Right next to that, it's so funny, but this is Nostradamus's. When I had my near-death experiences and saw and started catching the visions of the future and seeing things, I started learning about those that did it. And it's so funny, the binding on this book, it's an ancient book, the unabridged version. I used to go out and find old books because they're not informed by the limitation that our teachers have had here. All of my old textbooks, my anatomy books, were written by the ones dissecting Gray's Anatomy, not the new stuff, even though the new stuff is great, but they literally went through 1,000 bodies before they drew the images, all the way back. The reason that I share this is we've got so many tools. We've got so many gifts that haven't been acknowledged. And when you start making the miracles, or when you start witnessing that, you can surrender and let go and not have to see it to believe it. You believe it to see it. Did that answer that?
Yes.
So we want something in our heart, but we don't have faith or trust in God or source. We have more trust in what we've been seeing or taught from those around us.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see some of your drawings, because you love drawing anyway, to sketch in those areas. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Oh,
I'll just quickly show you. You told me to do a really soul retrieval on myself, so this was
yes,
like a quick, small
that
retrieval.
is extraordinary. I feel that, and I feel you connected to the earth so deeply in that. The material world in that is what I mean. For before the material world coming into you now. Yeah. So you're so welcome. That's so beautiful. So, and for you in Egypt as well, I'm getting something really specific. They have pyramid crystals. And so I'm getting pyramid crystals for you. We've already started to take a look for them with our guides to say that's what we're getting.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. The pyramids were covered in crystals, reflective alabaster. And over the years, the crystals have come off, but they have the original. There's families that have the original crystals. And so we got them a couple years ago. And when I tuned into you, what I could get for you, it was those crystals that would make a very big difference.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Yay. I think the next person that chimed in, and I think we'll have, hi, it's Dr. Sarah Larsen. Can you hear me? This is 424-234. Hello.
Hello?
Hi. Are you 424? Oh, you're 917.
No.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. It's Marianne.
Hi, Marianne. I was hoping it was you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. That's why I heard the unmute, but it was the wrong number. So it's me.
It's you. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And so what did you get out of, I know you came a little bit late, but what did you get out of the conversations?
It's reinforcing what I'm struggling with, which is being in the moment and focusing on personal goals and being mindful of where my mind is and focus and all that stuff. That is truly my biggest challenge currently. I find myself just floating out there, not being able to be present for all that, the shift, how much change and letting go and shifting I'm in. And then I find myself really grounding to it and being present in the pain and letting go. But that's kind of where I am. And I'm in this, I almost feel like I'm in this void of life where I'm not really accomplishing much. If I set my mind to accomplishing the tasks that absolutely have to be done, I'll get through them. But there's just a deep sense of disconnection and anxiety and pain body and all that kind of stuff. And
it's
just trying to let things come up and release.
yeah, and but one of the things that I'm sensing for you very, very clearly is how you're and I think you get this now on an emotional level and an energy level, how you process a lot of emotions of those that have not been processed around you. And for you to really slow down, and the slowing down has to do with noticing everything and moving away from personalizing it. I'm going to say that another way. There's a lot of energy in your field. And if you don't personalize any of it, you wind up finding yourself in the middle of it. So
if I don't personalize it?
If you don't personalize it. So if you're the calm in the middle of all of the storm, you're seeing the swirling, you're seeing the feelings, you're feeling the lostness. And you say, oh my God, every single person on the planet is feeling this right now. My heart is with every single person on the planet. And you breathe that in, and there's electricity in your breath so that you release any personalization to it. What I mean by electricity is you can sense the cooler air coming in, the warmer air going out. You might even be able to taste some of the food or aromas that are in the electricity of it. That deep breath in, saying with your mind's eye, imagining every person on the planet is feeling that particular feeling. You label the feeling and you feel it, and then you release it. And you're then asking what's the next thing that comes up. And you slow everything down so you label everything. And you take time to give it to the whole world. And you take time to really go, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like that the whole world has this? Then you've got, you begin to soar within yourself. And what I mean by soar is you get certain what's yours and what is someone else's. And the other part of this is really having a clear vision of, at the end of this year, Marianne, we've been working together for a number of years. And I think you said on the last time we talked, working with me saved your life.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And
I mean, yes, in the deepest, biggest sense.
And
absolutely.
And every step of the way, every one of the recordings kept you prepared for some of the roughest times. This year, what I'm experiencing for you is some of the most bright times coming in. Being lit, being passionate. Knowing your guiding stars, knowing yourself, the internal things that guide you.
Yeah, so, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I see that coming in fully for you. That guiding star. So the skill set this week to practice is whatever you're feeling, to imagine your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister-in-law, all of the peoples of the world feeling that.
Mm.
the dog, the neighbors. And then slowly going, what, okay, I'm okay that they're all feeling that. This is okay. Then noticing the next thing you feel and really holding the vision that your North Star is being lit up by this. Your internal, inside your heart, your guiding star inside your heart, fully realized. So take a deep breath.
Becoming light.
Yeah, becoming light. So the mindful of where your mind is.
Mm-hmm.
Bring yourself and your sensations to the current moment. What's a sound that brings you to the current moment? What's a sound?
A chime or a gong
A chime or a gong?
makes me present. Yeah.
Can you make that your announcement on your phone? Like my phone rings a doorbell. A doorbell reminds me to bring my energy into the moment, bring my attention into the moment. If you set your dial the announcement when it announces something's come on. I've got a bell for the announcements, like a little gong bell goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember to be present, listen to that sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I used the color red. It's so funny, my watch is red. Every time I used to see, because I used to live in a lot of pain and regret in the past. And then I used the color red to bring me into the current moment. Whenever I saw red, I would bring myself into the moment.
Oh.
So
yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to break the pain cycle and move out of this darkness and believe that it will get better when I feel like it's been 45 years of hell.
that is a very long time to feel that way. And if you bring it to very clearly to there is no place other than right now. Meaning all time is now. I'm going to say that another way. When I think the thought, with me, Sarah, Dr. Sarah, when I think the thought, it's taken me this long to get in good harmony with my parents, with my family. I feel heaviness.
Yeah.
So when I notice that, I then create meaning or a feeling that says, wow, if my parents and I live to, so one of the things I might think is, there are so many people whose parents died before they got to create the happiness with them.
Yeah.
That's one thought. Another thought that often comes up is that for no matter how they're being, I'm going to show up as love. So it doesn't matter how
forgiveness.
in the past, I'm going to show up as forgiveness. I'm going to show up. And they really, I know as a wounded person, for me, right now, especially being at their home, I can see how loving they are. And we were all wounded. It's literally when I changed, so did they. Because the broadcast coming from my heart changed the dimensions and the reality that I was in. That's something we get so deeply into in the course over the year, how we create, how the it's all an illusion. It's all fractals, and it's a deep conversation. But how responsible, how if I'm willing to be responsible fully, everything around me changed. One of those tools is your homework assignment. Everything that you feel, see everyone else feeling it. And then keeping your mind's eye on really clearly, be here now. There is only now. I'm connected to my North Star, to my heart of hearts now. I'm surrendered to Source now.
Being as present as possible in each moment.
Yes. And if you can't
what do you
be present,
do?
go to bed. If you can't be present, go to bed. Go for a walk,
Yeah.
or go to bed. If you can't be present, go to bed. And I prefer walking or exercising
Then shutting down.
than shutting down. If you can't be present, this was really like a life-changing moment when I really got, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
You taught me that. And
Yeah.
what happens when you practice that and someone, as you know, there's a bully in my life, which I identify as love, being I came from bullies. And I think it's unspoken desires. And I've been practicing so heavily that anything that person throws at me, I literally say, I love you, or I let them rage. And then I say, I'm sorry you're feeling this way. But that person almost then recognizes that as an assault. And I know there's relationships and contracts with people that will never see you. But where do you become more of the victim? I mean, for me, being a victim was how I reacted so aggressively towards all this abuse in my life, from my brothers to my parents to then my relationships. And I can see how I'm able to correct that in the ending of this relationship and this dynamic. But I still really struggle with boundaries and knowing and it not making me feel masculine. And these people tend to press my buttons to make me a bulldog, to bring out the rough ruggedness that had to survive my whole life. And it's so easy for me to go there. And then I start not liking myself. But I don't know how to still navigate through these.
It's I'm going to share a story. This week and last week, I was trying to help a friend and their mom who's not well. And so it was the week of the fires. The highway was closed and I could not get to this person's home in time. And I reached out to them, called them, whatever it was, but they got really, really angry. And then they sent a set of notes that and I went back to their house and tried to see the mom again, but the mom and the communication was hard. Another time that I went back, and they said, they started a statement with, if you loved me, you would have.
Right.
And then they went on to say something to the effect of, all of these accusations, you just wanted the sale, or you just wanted this, or you just wanted that. Never a mention of any of that, any of those. All of those were, let's see if we can, these are ways that we can spend time together. Maybe I can help you here, maybe I can help you there. Never money, never anything like that. But their perception of the world is to such a degree that that's how they see it. And so I wrote them back and I said, and I'm really proud of myself. In the past, language, I just wrote back, I'm so sorry you feel this way. Please forgive me. And I choose to have love and joy in my life. You can talk however you want. but I don't have to receive it. With this bully, this person directly in your life, raising your frequency, getting happier and happier, taking walks, using your mind's eye to imagine the best results. One solitary fantasy can transform a million realities. Feeling the love of your life, feeling the joy of your life, feeling that and broadcasting that before you step out of your room or into an environment that they might be in will cause them to not be present in your life. And you are going to be tested over and over and over again. This friendship tested me. You know, they said all of the things that in the past that I would try and prove how much I loved someone. And when I got that I had created the test, I created this person to see and behave this way with me, and their scenario, and this person is a powerful healer. I just find it hilarious. I wrote back and I said, you're a powerful healer. Go heal your mom. You know, this, like, really, the when I really sat down and looked at it through the lens of this either informs me or affects me. And when it in the past would have affected me and I would have reacted to it. But when I let it inform me, I looked at it with my mind's eye and I'm like, she's a powerful healer. She's incredible. She's done this and that. And I said, and that's when we were in our friendship. That's what caused our friendship. I could not control the highways being closed in order to get to her. Like, I know I couldn't have gotten to her.
So did you change apologizing for who you were and then manifest something different the second time around? Did you have a...
This test came up to see who I was being in the moment. And again, this friendship, this relationship has shown up in my life in various ways through different people. And I'm really proud that I didn't let it dip my frequency. I let it inform me. At first, I was like, I was affected because I love her. And I was doing her a favor. I wanted to continue to do the favor. You
wanted her to see what your real intentions.
Right. I made another attempt to go down there to connect. If she would have come back with, thank you so much for trying the first time. Thank you so much for trying the second time. Of course, I would have gone and tried a third time to connect with them. But she came back with, if you loved me. How terrible that you didn't make it this first time. We all waited for you. How terrible that my mom couldn't find your number on the internet or read the text that you sent her, you know, that sort of scenario. And I'm like, regret and shame and guilt. That was an energy frequency that I used to live in. And so out there, people would throw at me the energy of regret, the energy of shame, the energy of guilt. And so I wrote back. I was affected for a second. I was sad because I really wanted to help them. And then this is a mantra that I took on, not my monkeys, not my circus. I want to help to the greatest degree the people that I can help. I don't need to convince anyone or anything. So I did that, not my monkey, not my circus. And I sent them, and I sat then, and I caught with my mind's eye. I remembered she's a powerful healer. They're surrounded by healers. There's so much that they can do. And so I wrote back and I said, you're a powerful healer. You're incredible. You got this. And I'm sorry, I don't have time to show up in a manner that you want me to show up as.
Mhm.
And I didn't defend myself. I didn't
Yeah. And you didn't over apologize.
I didn't over apologize. I didn't push. I said, yeah, I didn't make it. There was a fire. The highways were closed. I couldn't make it. And I said,
So on some level, the other side of over acceptance or over is, I'm sorry, but just sort of being indifferent, I guess.
yeah, moving into courage, neutrality. Courage and neutrality. I was just teaching in Sedona, and I learned that I was teaching at the center that Dr. David Hawkins was teaching at. He's one of my heroes. I wanted to meet him as soon as I learned of his work. And I met one of his students, Dale, at the Creative Life Center in Sedona. And I didn't even know that, but to me, that's an affirmation that I'm on the right path.
Uh-huh.
What are your affirmations that you're on the right path? Meeting my teachers, meeting people that I really admire their work. I raised my frequency. A little village girl raised her frequency to be in the same room as, I've been in a room with Oprah. I've been at the Oscars where Oprah was. I raised my frequency. I raised my frequency to have the love of my life. I raised my frequency to have you here.
Thank you.
And my focus is to powerfully create. That's how I know the work is being done. That accountability, what is part of that is whenever something begins to affect you, you feel it for the whole world. Everyone has this. And then it becomes information for you. What do I really value? And how do I stay happy? And not fake it till you make it happy. But so if there is a paraplegic or a quadriplegic, and they can go, gosh, I can breathe. I can hear this. I'm so grateful. I can breathe and I can hear this. Their energy field expands. Their life force expands. It's measurable. It's something you can see. If a quadriplegic, paraplegic, and everyone around them is like, I'm so sorry, you lost your life. You used to be a runner. You used to be Superman, and now and that lowers their frequency, their life force goes. So it's your job to light yourself up. And for me, I would say something like, when I got into lower frequencies, thank God it's funny because I'm so grateful I'm not a man now. I love wearing clothes, and I love being a girl, and I love colors, and I love femininity. And I'm like, thank God I'm not a boring man. And it cracks me up when I say that now. Because they've got their...
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Coming out of a very masculine stage and really almost turning against femininity when that's really what I need to embody. It's interesting.
Yeah. And so the Dalai Lama in the Art of Happiness, one of the exercises he gives that he shares is say, I believe it's 3 things you're grateful for. So I'm grateful I'm at my parents' house. I'm grateful that my parents are healthy. I'm grateful that my kids get to spend time with them. My parents are such great grandparents. So I get to spend time with them. And then 3 things I'm grateful I'm not. I'm so grateful I'm not stuck in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that I can be today. I'm a people pleaser, especially with my parents. I want to please them. And I have all of this work to do. And we scheduled the trip last minute to come. And I said, oh my gosh, normally I would have negated a little bit of my responsibilities to spend more time with them. But I spoke up, and for every invite, I stayed focused. I can love them. I'm so grateful I'm not automatically saying yes and trying to create half-focused things with them or with what I need to do. So I'm grateful that I'm grateful I'm not afraid. I used to be afraid to tell them things, tell them what I wanted, what I didn't like, what I did like. Now I go, let me figure out a way to say this that informs them rather than affects them. So, and I'm going to surprise you with what I'm getting for you in Egypt. I'm so excited about it. And so you and I are going to have we'll have a day where we sit together and we remake you because you came in during that time frame. We will do that together. Yes.
January feels like the start of something that needs to be christened into new, and letting go is really what I'm processing these last few days, weeks of the year. A lot of processing, letting go, and almost feeling bipolar throughout the day.
It's really interesting that the miracle of karma, bipolar is really the miracle of karma there, black or white. And so if you can get present in the moment and turn it into 3 questions, am I to receive? Am I to give? Or am I to witness in this moment?
Beautiful.
Then the miracle of grace comes in. And really be present with the moment. So I love you. I love you guys so much.
I love you.
Love you.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're so welcome. So I think for those that are in the coaching program, and we are doing January 13th is the first day coaching wise. January 14th is we're going to schedule out the whole year based on astrological things. I'm gonna bring my Nostradamus book back here to show you for a second. Astrology, the patterns that the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets around us are going to be making in 2018. That's January 16. That's we will schedule the whole year for the rest of the year based on, so you'll know what days are the best days to be for you in particular, to be out there to in 7 areas of your life. Is this the day for love? Is this the day for money? Is this the day for mental preparation? Is this the day for vocation, for your work being fulfilled? So that's January 13th is the first day of coaching in the new program. January 14th, it's going to have a lot of different people. It is a lot of people on that call to really get and mark down their calendars. You need a calendar for that call. And we will start very beautifully creating the 1 days for the ones that got the 1 day. And every one of the dollars, everything that's coming our way is really going to help support one of the nonprofits. If you want to share this, or if you want to go to the nonprofits directly, the 2, one is Rise of the Butterfly with Layla Love. She lost her home in Northern California. Layla Love co-founded Rise of the Butterfly with Gloria Steinem. big shows, big art exhibits coming up. We've just got to really help maintain this organization, as it's physically, there's no home for Layla. There's no, all of that, everything that's online is what's available for it. Everything else pretty much burned up, or the things that are in museums or in the galleries already. That's one, Rise of the Butterflies. The other one that we're publicly doing this, the other people are very private, so we're not sharing anything about them, but Elevate Film Festivals, Mickey Willis, Elevate Films, that organization lost their home, 13 people. And so we're really actively looking to fund their work and get the equipment, all of the things that they lost. Mickey Willis, Nadia, their kids, very close to our hearts, very much part of our community. And so as we're doing this work, part of everything that is collected is publicly going to them, along with others. Some of the other ones are a little bit more vulnerable. And so our hearts are so with each one of us. We've got and are being given these challenges. If you've got breath, if you woke up today with breath, if you woke up, you are still on purpose. You are still, whatever is beating your heart believes in you, and that you can fully realize the miracle that you're here to make. Your breath will escape your body. You will go into freedom form, not having a vessel or body when it's no longer a possibility for you. You are, if you're breathing, you're on purpose, and you're being invited to a higher level of accountability and a higher level to show up as one of the miracles of grace, and to really understand the miracle of karma. Karma being unfulfilled desire. And so next week, I'm going to be in Egypt on Saturday. If I can figure out a way to give to you at 9 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, you'll get a notice of that in the newsletter. The newsletter you can sign up for at drsarahlarsen.com. That website, Dr. Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, Larsen, Larsen.com. You'll get the invite for January 16th if you're, for the calendar date, to rewrite the calendar, and also for the coaching program. You'll get all of those invites. I love you guys so much. Until next time, thank you all for being here. Bye for now.